Hello out there. I'm Gabriel Johns for Punk Globe Magazine, a Ginger Coyote publication. And I'm here today with Eddie Lopez, his band Electric Children, his booking company In Fuzz We Trust, and the man behind the Redwood Bar. Some great shows happening right there. Always a great show happening right there.
Thank you, sir.
Eddie, it's good to have you here. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.
And tell me a little bit about yourself, Eddie.
Where do we begin? Well, it all started in the fall of 1991. Kurt Cobain wrote a jingle that became a single, and there was a whole punk rock revolution thing that happened. And at least for us teenagers, where that turned us on to punk rock. And yeah, it made us trade in our baseball gloves for guitars, you know.
Nice.
So that was a cool thing to experience, to see that this little band from Olympia blow up.
Wow.
And then we followed them like people follow baseball teams, and just like, yeah.
And then what made you pick up the guitar?
Just knowing that this group, this little band from Olympia with this dude who just plays these 2-3 chords, we're all like, hey, we can do that. Like, that's doable. Whereas before that, you'd see like these cheesy MTV videos with these like 80s Sunset Strip looking dudes in tights and noodling. We're like, whoa, I can't, no, I don't look like no, that guy's skinny white and long hair and he noodles. Like, I don't noodle, and I'm not skinny and I'm not white. And
It's hilarious.
And so yeah, and then collecting after that, Kurt exposed us to like these bands like the Stooges and the Saints and the Vaselines, and you start digging and finding more stuff, and we're like, hey, I can do that, or yeah, I can do that.
Nice. And you just started doing it.
Yes, at some point.
That's what impresses me about a lot of your greatness that comes out, you know, is that you just pick it up and start doing it. You know, you don't go to School of Rock.
No School of Rock.
It just amazes me, those places. You know, hey, each to his own, but
yeah.
I worked in recording studios, and they would only hire people who would clean the toilets.
Oh.
They wouldn't hire the kids out of recording school. So they
Interesting.
would, yeah, they would.
You have to pay their dues.
Yeah, pay your dues, and you learn by being on the job.
Well,
And
when I first started at the Redwood Bar, they put me through, Christian, the owner, put me through like Redwood Boot Camp 101. Like, he first, because I just wanted to get into the game, you know. I know we're flopping around here, but I started cleaning toilets. I just wanted in. I'm like, there has to be a way to get in here, and I'm gonna get in. I'm gonna fucking get in. And I started mopping floors and cleaning toilets.
wow, interesting.
And I was like, fuck. And I came from this accounting world where, I mean, I was pooping out cash, you know. I was able to like buy a car cash, brand new car cash, and instruments and vacations, and so it was soul sucking. So the company moved to Texas, and I stayed behind, and which my mom still doesn't forgive me for it. She's like, you should have gone, blah blah blah. You stay behind and mop floors at a dirty little club, and I'm like, man, it's part of the rock and roll fantasy, you know.
What was going on at the Redwood then?
Oh no, they still had bands.
Who was booking?
It was Joe Walters was the original guy, good guy. Then Roy took over, and then after that, Bob, who used to write for Flipside, fucking awesome shows, good times. And then when he moved on, and then it got passed down to me.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, you did a great job there.
Thanks, man.
I love what you do at the Redwood. I mean, I've seen so many shows there, and you always give somebody the opportunity to play. That's what I love.
tried.
Yeah.
Because I remember being younger, and these places would, unless it was like real cliquey, unless you were buddies with the booker, or I remember this one booker in Silver Lake, like she would book mainly her buddies, or if she thought you were cute. That's how one of my buddies described it. And I was like, nah, that's lame. It should be about the music.
Right.
And we have like these all ages shows too on weekends in the summer, where I'm like, hey, this band's still not ready, but let's give them a shot so they can like slowly build up to be ready. Like, you have to start somewhere.
Right.
And if you don't give them a chance, like, how are they gonna blossom or get their feet wet and get going? You know.
That is awesome. You know, you definitely are a patron for the arts. That's really great that you do that. And everyone has so many great things to say about you. It's quite
thanks.
And you know everybody in the business. My God, it's just amazing some of the know-how and the know of all that of the people you come across, the artists, which is what must be wonderful for you. It must be fucking great.
Yeah, it's fun. And the CEO at the last company I worked for, because I've only had like 2 jobs. You know, I've been part of the Redwood thing for ages, and before that, I was in the accounting world for ages. So that's only like 2 gigs in like 20 years, you know. But the CEO at the corporation that I worked for would tell me, like, Lopez, don't network, make friends. So if I don't do the network thing, but I try to make friends with people, and I know like every booking agent on the planet, you know.
Yeah, that's
and,
great.
And bands and artists and venues, and it's all like a community. It's all a network, you know.
Yeah, you definitely made it into a network. Because you've taken your show over to Maui's. I think you've done some things down in Long Beach. In Fuzz We Trust. How did In Fuzz We Trust? How did that come about? As opposed to Eddie Lopez, the booker, to In Fuzz We Trust. Was it a legal thing? Or did you make it illegal?
Not at all. Well, you know, I grew up collecting Sub Pop records, singles. I was a Sub Pop record singles kid, and then I noticed that all these regions had these cool labels and networks where like SST was like SoCal, and AmRep Minnesota, Touch and Go Chicago, Esris was also up in the Northwest, and then K Records, Kill Rock Stars, and there was like these labels would just focus on like their little local scenes, and I thought that was amazing. Like, it was inspiring, and Long Gone John had sympathy for the record industry, and I was collecting those singles, even though he didn't focus on just one region. He put out all this cool underground stuff. So when I did In Fuzz We Trust, I'm like, oh, let me focus on this LA underground thing, but also support touring bands, because I was in a touring band, and anytime I went on the road, people helped me, whether it's with living space or money, or I mean, there's bands where we play like Chicago or whatever town we were, like, where the local bands would just give us the door money and say, hey, you're on the road, get to your next destination. And so I try to help touring bands as much as I can, because that's where it's
awesome.
at.
Yeah, it's definitely a hard road, especially Los Angeles. Los Angeles is a hard place to play. My experience in booking, it was just like I used to do the same thing. I used to love to give everyone an opportunity, as opposed to like friends, you know, or how many people can you bring in? What's the guarantee? And there's also fucking pay to play.
Oh,
you
it's
know,
awful.
it's just like,
Like, there's this one venue that we shall not name, but they posted this rant about like, hey, we're not promoters, we don't promote your shows, like, if you play here, like, this is what we expect from you, and you better bring people, and blah blah. It's just like, that's not, right from the get-go, you're like turned off.
Yeah.
That's not a community, or that's not building anything. I think venues and bookers and bands should all work together to make it like a successful thing, so everyone walks away a winner.
Yeah. What is your ultimate goal with like booking? Do you want it to be a bigger company? Do you want it to be like other bars? Do you want it to be one day my own venue?
Well, I just want it to be the coolest bar in town, and it's slowly building up to that, where it's, you know, the Redwood's owned by a musician, and all of us there are in bands. So we're all just trying to, like, post-COVID, just rebuilding and make it like.
Well, it's interesting, because one night I was there, actually it's been a couple of nights I was there, and people actually came in just to see the Redwood Bar because of its bands, right? It's got that reputation. Excuse me, I just drilled on myself. It's got that reputation, right?
Yeah, it does. People do tell me, like, oh, I saw I saw this TikTok thing and I want to check it out. It's like this cool haunted bar and
Right.
with cool bands.
Right.
So that's kind of neat that word's spreading. And
How long have you been with them, booking them now?
I started part-time booking there in like 2010, 2011, but then it started snowballing into like more nights, and then started working the door. And when I first started, they had me cleaning toilets and floors, and I was just like,
It's a way to start, man.
I'm like, man, this is like rock and roll dive bar 101. But I wanted to get in, so I had to pay my dues. I was like, man, going from like suit and tie, working behind a desk, to like mopping floors for like shit pay, you know?
Yeah.
I'm like, damn, I must love this rock and roll thing very much.
I admire like people who do that. You know, it's just like I used to work in the a lot of the big recording studios back in the day, and they wouldn't hire the kids coming out of Recording Academy. They would hire the kids who cleaned the bathrooms, served the cheese plates, and all that. Those were the ones who got the jobs and all of that. And
The runners.
Yeah, the runners and all that, the T-boys. So that was I admire you that you do that we have such a love for it. You can really tell somebody who has a love for just music, for rock and roll. You definitely have that, you know, that spark in your eye, that excitement, and I've always admired that about you.
Thanks.
You know.
We gotta hold up the torch high so that others can see, you know?
Right, exactly. Right.
And I know that you do the same thing. You're always promoting bands and people's radio shows, and
Nah.
you're always pushing too, so it's great. We
Yeah.
need to just keep that going, because it's a community, you know?
Yeah.
It's an ecosystem, and we all have to just keep going, doing our part to keep it going, you know?
Tell me about Bill Bateman. How did you hook up with Bill Bateman for the Let Your Children band?
William Ray Bateman. We met at the Redwood Bar. Surprise. It was a Phil Alvin
Was
Monday.
he a regular?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow.
It was a Phil Alvin Monday. Phil Alvin had these residency Monday evening shows where you play like, man, that guy knows like, play the American Songbook. So that was fun. Mondays after work, you know, go home, get ready, go check out Phil Alvin, and we're from the same town, you know. And I was talking to, I got close with Bill because we had all this in common. You know, we loved the blues, Jeffrey Lee Pierce, and Bad Women at the time. And so we bonded over that, and we became buddies. We'd go looking for trouble, you know. And we got into a lot of trouble many times. So much fun, you know.
Right.
And he's a little older, so I'm glad that this guy's like this young soul, you know. He's just, there's times when we're on tour, and some of our bandmates who are way younger than him, they stay in the hotel room, and me and him hit the town, you know?
Looking for trouble.
Looking for trouble.
Looking for trouble, yeah.
But
I love those looking for trouble posts you do. Yeah.
That was pre-COVID.
Yeah, you'll be looking for more trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No more looking for trouble.
There you go.
No, I don't want to get in trouble
There you go.
with somebody else. So one time we were hanging, I said, hey Bill, I want to start a band called Electric Children, and you're going to be in it. And he was just like smoking a cigarette, going like, haha, okay. He gave me like that sure kid kind of like vibe. And then, you know, I started the band. We laid the foundation down. We had music and this and that. And he didn't come out. He didn't join till way later. But yeah, it's been fun making music with him. Good times.
Have the members of EC, Let Your Children, were they interchangeable or all original members?
You know, it wasn't planned to be interchangeable, but that's just the way.
It kind of is.
Now it is. Like, although the last couple of years, there's been a few constant people whom I love, and I don't want them to be interchangeable. Like Phil Cobb on lead guitar, who's just a wizard on the guitar and a great songwriter. And then Chanel's like the main vocalist,
Right.
and she's a great writer, and she just has that beautiful voice.
Is she the violinist?
Oh no, that's Maxine.
Oh, okay.
She came after her last. She left her last group.
We'll get to her in a second.
Yeah.
Tell me more about the singer, Chanel.
Chanel's awesome. A beautiful soul, beautiful voice, great writer, and she lays on the new records that we're working on, it's so good. Like sometimes I'll just like be drinking my coffee and just listening to just her vocal tracks with all the harmonies, just
Right.
that by itself, and I'm just like, whoa, it's like angelic.
Nice. She recently got married, didn't she?
She did,
Nice.
and her
Congratulations.
yeah, congrats. It was a fun wedding. It was beautiful. Like, I actually cried, you know.
Did you play?
No,
No.
I behaved too.
Nice. No trouble.
No trouble. No, there was like family and stuff. Like,
Nice.
gotta
Nice.
be, gotta be good. And her husband Tony's amazing. Great bass player. He plays in Spirit in the Room, one of my favorite bands in this town. And he's a great sound guy. And yeah, good people.
Nice.
Beautiful, beautiful people.
Nice. Nice. Yeah, you have some pretty electric shows there. I just saw the Tigerellas, which was a fucking awesome show.
And they're coming back in October with the Fleshtones.
Yeah, I know, right?
And I love Melanie. Melanie rules.
Yeah.
She plays keys on her next single.
Yeah,
She's fucking amazing.
I've seen Melanie with Josie, with the Tigerellas.
We got Josie at the Redwood in September too.
And yeah, I saw that.
With Soraya, another band that I love.
Yeah.
And
I love
Zozo from Soraya also sings on our record.
Nice. I saw that. A lot of people are
Yeah.
guest starring. Melanie's played on your record. I know. Is it Zuzu or Zozo?
Zozo,
Zozo, and who else has played?
Jessica Von Rabbit,
Right, Jessica
who's a
Von
goddess.
Rabbit. Mm-hmm.
Her partner in crime, Lee, plays bass. Lee Joseph, who's also a DJ. He has a show on Luxuria Music.
Hey, what's your I know you reference Lee Hazelwood a lot.
Oh, I love Hazelwood.
I know.
One of my favorite songwriters, besides like Brian Wilson and Kurt and Greg
He's a great
Sage.
songwriter, but I just like look at you and I go, wow, that's kind of like a non sequitur pulling out of the Eddie Lopez hat. And I was really impressed when I saw that you were very much into Lee Hazelwood, as long as everyone else was in the band was into it too.
Oh, and Chanel loves those records too, so it was a match made in heaven. Actually, the first time she sang with us was for a Lee Hazelwood tribute, and that's when I told Bill, like, for these next set of records, it's like a trilogy of records, and it's like they're all based in the 60s. I told him we're gonna need a Nancy. Back then we didn't have a girl singer. And we did this Lee Hazelwood tribute, and I knew, like, I'm gonna get a Nancy out of this fucking
Wow.
tribute.
Wow.
We need a Nancy. And, we all rehearsed, and then after the show, I was like, oh my gosh, Chanel has to be in our group. And I think Phil joined shortly after that tribute too. And I was like, we just got bigger and better, And yeah, there's lots of harmonies and lots of crazy stuff going on.
I know.
Like psychedelic weird shit and all these instruments
I
and
like that a lot of that a lot of textures to the Electric Children Band, as opposed to like I remember when I first saw you at the Redwood, and I was like, and oh my God, what's her name? Michelle?
Balderrama,
Yeah, she was playing, and I was like looking, and to tell you the truth, I really didn't get you guys, but I thought like Michelle is fucking bombing away on guitar, man. I mean, bombing away.
Yeah,
She was so. I was like, jaw dropped, like, wow, this is amazing. What's going on here? I'm not quite sure if I get it yet, but there's something going on. That's when I think this is 2015.
I think she joined in 17 or something like that.
And it was then, and all that. So I remember that. Then you guys just started getting better and better and better. And then you started doing the Moon Dreams.
During COVID, we started writing that, working on it.
And you started kind of releasing different songs. I go, wow, that's really different from what I remember that first time I saw them. That's just like that hard, like thrash metal, psychedelic. And it was like,
we're trying to evolve.
You definitely evolved. And there's songs. There are some songs. I'm hearing songs now. So that was really good to hear that. Yeah.
Thanks. That was very important. Like, these have to be songs, and they all have to be different from each other. And it's like a trilogy of records. And then the demos I've been demoing lately sound like real glammy. So I'm gonna have like the girls like all glittered out.
Nice.
But that's gonna come later. And then there's these garage, dirty rock songs that I want to record that sound like they're coming out of a box.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going from the the trilogy of big sounding 60s records to like lo-fi early 80s LA
Nice.
slash record sounding type of songs.
Nice. Are you on a label?
No.
No?
Mm.
You're just releasing everything on your own? Yeah, it's probably the best way to do it.
There's not that many left, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
There's a few good ones, like Suicide Squeeze out of Seattle's really good.
Yeah?
They're awesome. Yeah, there's a handful of people still pushing, and Calvin's still going in Olympia.
Nice.
Kill Rock Stars. He's still
Nice.
putting out stuff.
Yeah, that's right, That's right.
I love, I love people that just keep pushing and help musicians out. Yeah.
What would you say to the audience as far as if you're just starting out? You know,
Just
you
do
seem
it.
to, just right?
Just do it.
Yeah.
No quitting.
It's interesting when you say no quitting, it's just like, I've always considered myself a musician second, a songwriter second. Oh, I work in interior design. Oh, I also write songs. And it wasn't until the switch that I said, you know what? I fucking write songs. That's what I do. It's not who I am, but it's what I do.
Hell yeah.
And it changed my whole concept of what I wanted to do. What do I expect from myself? I gotta spit this gum out. And and it just shifted, and that's what I noticed. Yeah, you kind of put all your energy into In Fuzz We Trust, into the Electric Children, into the music scene as a community.
Totally.
So it's a kind of a consciousness. There it is.
Absolutely. Like we're lifers, regardless of what happens, we're lifers. Like, and so is like, for example, Bill. He's like 70 and he's still like performing shows and working on music. Like he's a lifer.
Yeah. Didn't you go up to Santa Barbara to see the Blasters?
Man, that was fun.
Yeah.
It was. I saw people crying in the audience, and it was good to see the Alvin Brothers on the stage again.
Nice.
And it's like post-COVID, during COVID, we didn't know if that was ever going to happen again, or like who's going to survive, who's not, like who still wants to play. Are we ever going to play again? Like who knows? Like
Right.
Like we lost members. Didn't lose, but like our actual original, like our bass player had a baby during COVID, and the person I wanted to come in to potentially be the bass player, she had a baby too. She got pregnant during COVID and had a baby too.
Nice.
And she but she still recorded on the record and helped us out. And so now we have a rotating. That's the one position that's still rotating, is the bass players. One of my favorite bass players,
Go on.
Leanne, that's the person I really wanted full time, and she just got hired to play bass for Demi Lovato, and she's playing arenas.
Wow.
That's fucking cool. Like
That's amazing.
we're all like cheering her on.
I
Hi, Leanne.
I saw you in Long Beach. Was that when she was playing with you?
Yes.
At Al's Bar. Who were the other two girls? Well, one of them was the violin player.
Maxine. She's like our little sister. I love her.
And then there was the blonde who sang.
Yeah, so there's this amazing artist named Poppy Jean Crawford, whom I love, and she sang all over the new albums,
Mm-hmm.
So when we started like rehearsing and try to like put this together live, I was like, oh, well, there's times where Maxine pulls back because she's playing violin, and I need that harmony, And Natalia, who's been in bands and played the Redwood, and I thought would be a good fit, and that's how she was like the last addition.
Nice.
And that's how we're trying to like make it work, and it's still a work in progress, but it's fun.
Nice. And now wait a minute, tell me what's been released, what is going to be released, what's going on with Electric Children.
Well,
What was your first release?
well, we said we're gonna take 2022 off to deal with like there was like
Have you recorded
funerals and
anything before that?
oh yeah, we started demoing stuff in 2020. So the world was closed, and we used the Redwood as our pre-production pad. And before, because we still had food to go, so it was still semi-open. So I'd go there early, sit in my booth, and just write and write and write and write. And also at home, I was just writing. I made it a job, like 9 to 5. I'm just gonna fucking write and work on tunes and all these bags of demos. Like I'm gonna listen to them. Like what do we still have? What do we need? Next thing you know, we had like 200 songs, over
Wow.
200, and it was like, okay, let's start putting them together and see like, so these records have a beginning, a middle, and an end, you know. And fast forward, like 2021, we started like bringing the live version of the band out, and we were set to release something, and then the variants started happening along with show cancellations, and we got offered this Mexico tour, where I thought, oh, I think we're gonna do this, and then that's when, like, was it Omicron? One of those variants happened, and I'm like, all right, forget it. So I told my crew, like, let's just take, and then people started getting married, and other
Life happens.
yeah, like one of my favorite singers of all time was gonna sing on our record, and then he passed in February. And
Who was that?
Mark Lanigan.
Oh, yeah.
It's where we put out.
That's right, I remember that.
Yeah, that one really like hit hard. So that it was like February morning where we put out a single, like a traditional song called "Death Don't Have Mercy," and then like that afternoon they announced his
Yorma
passing.
song, right?
I think it's
Yeah,
Reverend, what's his name? I can't remember his name.
I just know it from
It was been played a bunch.
Jorma, God, how to pronounce his last name. Jorma and Jack Cassidy. Death Don't Have No Mercy. So,
Okay.
fucking
I
awesome.
gotta check it out. There's so many people that have covered it. And then it was that after that afternoon, I just said like time out. We're gonna coast through 2022 and just deal with personal family stuff. And then we do have a single coming out soon, our French single, that Melanie plays keys on. And we have a music video that's gonna accompany it.
What's the name of the song?
Triste Journée.
Okay.
And
Pop song, heart song,
It's kinda
love
like-
song.
it's kind of a poppy 60s French
Nice.
pop song. And we were ideally, every year we have a Halloween bash at the Wood. And our goal was to try to have it ready for our big Halloween party that my buddy Eddie helps curate, which is called Lux for Life.
Mhm.
So we,
Oh, yeah.
we celebrate
Mm-hmm.
Lux every year, and Bill was in the Cramps, so that's kind of
Yeah.
cool too.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so we might release something Halloween weekend, and it's my favorite time of year, so
Nice.
yeah.
Nice. Where is In Fuzz We Trust going? Is it getting bigger? Will it get bigger? Will it book other places? Will it become more of a, not just a Redwood Bar thing?
Well, Redwood Bar's home, and we're still trying to. Everything should go in steps and levels. Like
Mhm.
we're still trying to make it bigger and better. But
Right.
Redwood Bar's home, yeah.
That's awesome. I love it that you're taking your time doing this, that, there's real no rush into doing anything.
No
And
rush.
if you're rushing it, then you got to come up with something else, So if it's just like, really keep the anticipation going.
Yeah.
There's,
We have all the time in the world,
Mhm.
Like, it's great.
we do and we don't,
Yeah.
but, if used wisely, it really works for the benefit of projects. Timing is everything.
100%.
Yeah.
I'd rather do it right and take our time as opposed to just like rush releasing a bunch of stuff, and then it just gets forgotten because you didn't take your time to push it and do it right.
Hey, can I hear top 10 bands? Often since you book so much that just come to the top of your head, like bam, bam, bam.
Man, off the top of my head, my favorite band in this town is called Ugly.
Okay. Girl band?
No, I think they're mixed,
Okay.
and they remind me of like early '80s LA. They're amazing. And then there's Fea,
Mm-hmm.
which almost translates to the same word a little bit. They're from San Antonio, all girl band.
Okay, wow.
From San Antonio, they're playing Redwood in September. I love Fusion Babies. They're like this underground, just dirty sounds. They're fucking great. My little brothers and sister in Speed of Light. We've been pushing them for a while with our all ages shows. God, there's so many. Extina and the Reckless Hearts, all girl band that they kind of funnel us members. Like a lot of their members have played with us in some capacity. So
Nice.
thanks 16.
Nice.
There's a Pigzilla whom I love. Olivia's fucking badass. She's fucking amazing. Salem's band, that they're more like sludgy. I love, and then there's like Katie Ward, who's like just has these cool little solo, just pretty songs, pretty voice.
Nice.
I dig that. God, there's so many.
There are so many bands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the Northwest has a lot of like cool like doom sludge metal that I love destroying my neck to. You know? There's a band from Montana called Wizard. I just had a band from Spokane called Murloc who were great. Just like dirty riffs, heavy
Nice.
as fuck. And of course the desert always has good stuff like Jessica Von Rabbit, who I think is a queen. A Goddess and Big Pig.
Who is that band of kids? And they always have their chest showing. Their long hair, and they're fucking great, man.
Oh, the Darbies.
The Darbies.
Yeah, they're good. They're
Fuck,
great.
I love those guys, man.
You can tell they're fans of like Joe Perry and
I
fucking
know,
Slash.
right?
Like,
But they bring a certain amount of glam to it because they're just these
Yeah.
young, good-looking kids, and they're fucking awesome. I remember seeing them, and it's just like, wow, these guys are fucking great.
Ronnie's the real deal, you know. He's like little Joe Perry. I tell him, you know.
That's
He
hilarious.
has that Les Paul. He's just badass, you know.
Right.
And yeah,
Good
then
times.
there's this cool new band called Space Cadets, and it has Veronica from the Glam Skanks. And she's
okay.
she's badass. Such a good songwriter. They have their debut show in a couple weeks.
Yeah?
You might want to check that out.
Nice, I will. I definitely will.
There's this band from the Northwest called the Gins, who are great.
That is weird because I used to have a band called the Gins.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, Jinns.
Okay,
That
at
was
one end.
Back in the 80s.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's a great name.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a few.
So what, any big plans coming up? Anything, you're excited about? New projects? New things with the Redwood Bar? And any new developments with Let Your Children? Are you, like, getting interest, Give us the 411, Eddie.
Yeah, we're working on a couple of things that I can't disclose, but
Okay.
the things I can say.
I already like
is,
that.
Yeah, there's like this film that I'm working on that's going along with the record, and we just started kind of filming and we're editing parts
Wow.
of it, and I'm a big fan of like Alejandro Jodorowsky, so look him up. He's put out some great films, and it's a mix of like Jodorowsky and Von Trier, and just like, but it's like the music to the records are gonna match the film. So there's that too. So I've been trying to chip away at that. So
Nice.
it's just like all these big mountains we decided to start climbing, but
That's
you
awesome.
just gotta keep pushing yourself and setting bigger goals.
Right.
Keeps me going.
That's awesome. So you're in town for a while. This is like home. This is like,
Yeah.
this is what I do. I need to be around here.
For
This is
now,
what I
but at
do.
some point I will be on the road.
Yeah.
Like I have to be on the road
Well,
to balance it
the
out.
road is the road. You'll always
Yeah.
come back.
Yeah.
What I'm saying, you're not going to transplant yourself over to New York or Europe or anything. Any plans to go to Europe? AC in the Europe?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The cool thing about my group is I have people that know our songs in Australia, Mexico, and Europe.
Nice.
So I can go out there with a couple of my people, and I already have a band out there. So that's kind of
great.
cool. That's kind of cool.
great.
So there's a couple of different, yeah.
Nice.
So at some point, yes. But when you say New York or Europe, I'm like, no, I love the Northwest because I'm a cold weather guy, So
Oh my.
at some point, I do want to go because I love the rain,
I lived in Oakland for a while, and I just like, but with all this global warming, it's just like, wow, I'm up here because it's cooler, and it's not. You know what I mean? I used to go to San Francisco when I was a kid, and it was, come night, the fog roll in, just
Oh.
like, whoa, cold sweater weather.
I love it.
And it's just like, I used to love that. And it's just like, now it's just like, where's the fog? Why is it so fucking hot? Anyway.
But yeah, as far as the Redwood, have you seen the new patio?
No.
No? Yeah, we have a new patio. It's great.
Oh, wait,
People dig it.
Other than the street, right?
Yeah. And inside too, there's a whole new patio inside where there's like these props where people will come and take pictures, and ever since that friend of ours put on TikTok that the bar's haunted, now we're getting all these people trying like, oh, this is the haunted bar, pirate bar.
That's awesome.
And then during COVID, we upgraded our sound and lights and sound team, and it sounds way better
Yeah,
than
you're
it.
doing streaming, y'all. You also stream the bands, and that's really cool.
Yeah, people should go to our Redwood Bar YouTube pages and subscribe.
Yeah?
A lot of good
I think
shows.
I
Okay.
do, but that's good to know. Say it again.
Redwoodbar.com,
Nice.
or go to the Redwood's YouTube pages or Facebook.
Nice, nice.
We have good food too, by the way.
You do have
Yeah.
good food.
It's great.
Surprisingly enough, it's just like, I love your, the Caesar salad. I don't want to talk food. Let's
Yeah.
keep it on music.
Let's give it to rock and roll. That was a cheap plug.
Rock and roll is don't
Redwoodbar.com.
eat. We don't eat. Yeah, so, Eddie, what else can you share with us? Anything, any thoughts on, any messages to the kids
Awesome.
out there?
I'm like, okay, I can't share that or that.
Come on.
Yeah, kids, stay in school, don't do drugs, and buy records and make music, and
Love.
support your local music scene.
There you go. Support your local music scene. Be it here in Los Angeles or New York or the Midwest or all over the world. Just do it, man. Share your friends' bands, even if they're not your friends. If you like it, share it. It's one thing I love about Eddie. Always impressed with Eddie on what he does. I feel supported by this man. So this is really cool that you do that. And I'm sure a lot of other bands do too.
Hell yeah.
Yeah?
It's an ecosystem, whatever, so we just got to keep it, do our part and keep it going. So it's there for the next group of people.
Right, right.
Because some people get big and they just forget about it, like they're good.
Yeah.
Whereas when the Nirvana thing happened, like he'd take like his favorite bands to open up,
Yeah.
and he tried to help those people out. And I remember Mark Lanigan saying when he was like broke, like Kurt just went to the ATM machine, pulled out a bunch of money, and just gave it to him. Like he was always trying to help. Like we're
Right.
trying to keep that going.
Uh-huh.
That was the point. Was just because we're in bands doesn't mean we can't help other bands out.
Exactly.
But,
Exactly.
Just keep it going,
Yeah. Pay it forward, man.
Big time.
Pay it forward.
Big time.
Eddie, is there anything else you want to share before we wrap it up?
Good.
Want to say hi to Mom or anything?
Hi, Mom. Go to electricchildren.bandcamp.com for
Yes. Did you
our
hear
latest
that?
singles.
There you go. What else?
For updated shows, redwoodbar.com.
Nice.
You can visit our socials. We always constantly posting.
Is In Fuzz
announcements.
We Trust have a website?
Just the Instagram.
Okay.
Oh, the
Instagram?
website's almost up, but not yet.
Okay. Nice. That's good to know. Something to look forward to.
Hell yes.
Eddie, thank you very much.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure. I love this man.
Love you too, man.
And I want to thank him. I hope you all enjoy this. This is Gabriel Johns for Punk Globe Magazine, a Ginger Coyote publication, and big hand for Eddie! Good night, all. Say good night, Eddie.
Good night.
There you go. Give it a second.